Skyhaven Temple had never felt like this, not even in the stories. Steel rang against steel in the training yard. Voices echoed through newly restored halls. Messengers came and went with urgency. The blades were being reborn. At the center of it all, the Dragonborn stood with Delphine and Espern. "We don't have time to sit on this," he said. Delphine leaned forward slightly. "Then say it." He nodded. "I'm going after Murok." Silence followed. Espern exhaled slowly. "Another Dragonborn." Delphine didn't argue this time. "Then we prepare for everything else." The Dragonborn met her gaze. "You're in charge while I'm gone." She raised an eyebrow. "I always was." He smirked faintly. "Now it's official." Her tone sharpened. "Orders." He didn't hesitate. "Rebuild the blades." A pause. "Not small, not hidden." Another. "I want numbers." Espern nodded. "It will take time." "Then start now," the Dragonborn replied. He continued. "And open negotiations." Delphine frowned. "With who?" "Both sides." That landed hard. "The Empire and the Stormcloaks," he said. "You're serious," she said. "Yes." A pause. "We can't fight the Thalmor divided." Espern nodded slowly. "He's right." Delphine sighed. "That's going to be a nightmare." "Figure it out," the Dragonborn said. A small smirk tugged at her lips. "You really are in charge." Outside, the air itself felt heavier. 6 massive forms waited. Skyrend, Vorthal, Sindral, Razek, Oryx, Odaviing. All turned as the Dragonborn stepped out. Skyrend moved first. "You leave." "Yeah." "I will carry you," Skyrend said. The Dragonborn nodded. "To Windhelm." A pause. Skyrend tilted his head slightly. "Not across the sea." The Dragonborn shook his head. "No." He looked at the others. "I'm not dragging all of you that far." Sindral gave a low rumble. "Unnecessary." Razek added. "This land needs us." Odaviing stepped forward slightly, wings shifting. "The skis are not yet ours." Vorthal's deep voice followed. "The Thalmor will move." "Exactly," the Dragonborn said. He stepped closer. "I need all of you here." Silence. Then, Oryx spoke. "The Golden Ones." "The Thalmor," the Dragonborn confirmed. "They will test your absence," Oryx said. "Let them," the Dragonborn replied. His gaze hardened. "Drive them out." A low, unified rumble answered him. "It will be done," Vorthal said. Skyrend added. "We will watch from above." Sindral's tone sharpened. "And strike when needed." Razek smirked faintly. "Finally, a real hunt." Odaviing stepped forward, eyes focused. "I know their tactics." The Dragonborn looked at him. "Good." "Break them," Odaviing continued. "Before they organize." The Dragonborn nodded once. "Exactly." He looked at all 6 now. "And one more thing." They listened. "Find others." A pause. "Dragons who don't want to follow what Alduin was." Vorthal understood immediately. "You build an army." The Dragonborn smirked slightly. "Yeah. The Thalmor won't see it coming." Oryx gave a deep, approving rumble. "They will fall quickly." Skyrend lowered himself. "Then we begin." The Dragonborn climbed onto his back. But before they left, he looked back. At the temple. At the blades. At the dragons. At everything he had built. "Don't let it fall apart." Delphine crossed her arms. "Just come back alive." Espern added quietly. "And with answers." The Dragonborn smirked. Working on it. Skyrend launched into the sky. Below, 5 dragons remained. Vorthal, Sindral, Razek, Oryx, Odaviing. Watching, guarding, preparing. And across Skyrim, whispers spread. A man who commands dragons, who ended Alduin, who unites enemies. He should be High King. The idea grew. From towns, to holds, to the halls of power. Not everyone believed it, but enough did. Far above, the Dragonborn didn't hear it. Not yet. Windhelm came into view. Cold, unforgiving. This is far enough, he said. Skyrend landed just outside the city. I will wait, the dragon said. Try not to scare anyone, the Dragonborn replied. A low rumble answered him. No promises. The Dragonborn smirked slightly, then turned. Toward the docks. Toward Raven Rock. Toward Murrock. And behind him, a war had already begun. Because now, the Dragonborn wasn't just reacting. He was preparing. And that made him more dangerous than anything Skyrim had ever seen. Windhelm's docks were quieter than usual. Cold winds rolled in from the Sea of Ghosts, carrying salt, ice, and something else. Chain. The Dragonborn walked along the wooden planks, eyes scanning the ships. Most were too small. Fishing boats. Trading vessels. Nothing that could handle what he needed. This might be harder than I thought, he muttered. A sailor nearby eyed him cautiously. You looking for passage? Yeah, the Dragonborn said. A big one. The sailor snorted slightly. Everyone wants a big one. One that can hold a dragon, the Dragonborn added. Silence. I'm sorry, what? Before the man could react further, a shadow passed over the docks. People froze. Then, Skyrend descended. Wings spread wide. Frost curling through the air. Panic almost erupted. But it stopped. Because the Dragonborn didn't move. Didn't react. With me, he said calmly. The sailors looked between them. Then at the dragon. Then back again. You're serious, one whispered. Very. After a long, tense negotiation, they found one. An old but massive trading ship. Reinforced. Wide deck. Strong enough, the Dragonborn asked. Skyrend studied it, then lowered himself carefully onto the deck. The wood creaked, but held. Acceptable, Skyrend said. The crew looked like they were questioning every life decision they had ever made. Set sail, the Dragonborn said. No one argued. The ship moved. Out into the Sea of Ghosts. The journey was tense. Skyrend remained still, watching the horizon. The crew avoided looking at him. Avoided speaking near him. The Dragonborn leaned against the railing. You ever done this before? No. Figures. A pause. Skyrend spoke again. This Murrock. Yeah. He is like you. The Dragonborn nodded. Yeah. But not like you, Skyrend added. Hopefully not. Far behind them, Skyrim moved. Delphine didn't wait. She stood at the edge of Sky Haven Temple, looking out across the land. We start now, she said. A shadow landed beside her. Odaviing. I will carry you. She glanced at him. You're volunteering. I understand war, Odaviing replied. A pause. And speed matters. She smirked slightly. I like you. Moments later, they took to the sky. Across Skyrim, Delphine began recruiting. Former soldiers. Mercenaries. Warriors with no allegiance left. All brought together under one banner. The blades. Meanwhile, the dragons moved. Vorthal rose high above the mountains, ancient eyes scanning distant lands. Sindral and Razek split off. Find the strong, Razek said. And the willing, Sindral added. Oryx remained near Skyhaven Temple. Watching. Guarding. Someone must hold the center, he said. And so, the search began. Dragons seeking dragons. Not for dominance, but for alliance. And in the temple, Esbern worked tirelessly. Maps spread across tables. Notes scattered everywhere. We need structure, he muttered. Not just soldiers. Not just recruits. Leaders. Commanders. He marked locations across Skyrim. Whiterun, Solitude, Markarth. Strategic points. Places to rebuild. Places to hold. The blades would not just return. They would rise stronger than before. Back at sea, the ship cut through icy waters. Raven Rock appeared on the horizon. Dark. Ash-covered. Unwelcoming. There it is, the Dragonborn said. Skyren's eyes narrowed slightly. I do not like this place. Yeah, the Dragonborn replied. Me neither. The ship moved closer. Toward Solstheim. Toward Murok. And as the Dragonborn prepared for what came next, behind him, a war was quietly forming. Blades rising. Dragons gathering. Alliances forming. And for the first time, Skyrim wasn't waiting to be attacked. It was preparing to strike first. The sea of ghosts faded behind them. Ash replaced snow. Raven Rock loomed ahead, dark, choking, unfamiliar. The moment the ship entered the harbor, everything stopped. Workers dropped tools. Guards froze mid-step. Citizens stared. Because a dragon was sitting on a ship. That's not normal, one guard whispered. No, another replied. It really is. The ship slowed, docking carefully, creaking under Skyren's weight. The Dragonborn stepped forward, looking out over the ash-covered town. This place feels worse than Skyrim. Skyren's icy breath curled into the air. It is tainted. Yeah, the Dragonborn muttered. I can feel that. A pause. Skyren spoke again. This Murok has influence here. Then we're in the right place. Silence settled between them for a moment. Then the Dragonborn turned. To the crew. They froze. Every single one of them. Yeah, the captain said nervously. The Dragonborn nodded. You got me here. A pause. And not many people can say they sailed a dragon across the sea. A few of them actually managed small, nervous laughs. You'll be remembered for that, he continued. The captain blinked. Remembered. The Dragonborn smirked slightly. As the crew who carried the Dragonborn to the next great threat. Silence. Then, pride. Real, quiet pride. That's not bad, one sailor muttered. The captain straightened slightly. We'll take that. The Dragonborn nodded once. Good. Then he turned back toward the dock, where things had gotten worse. Soldiers now surrounded the ship. Weapons drawn. Shields raised. Don't move, one shouted. Seriously, the Dragonborn muttered. Skyrim shifted slightly. They fear what they do not understand. Yeah, I'm noticing a pattern. The Dragonborn raised his hand slightly. Relax. That didn't help. You brought a dragon into Raven Rock, a guard shouted. Yeah, the Dragonborn replied. You're welcome. That confused them. I'm not your enemy, he said. The guards hesitated. Then one stepped forward. Prove it. Before the Dragonborn could answer, Skyrend spoke. We do not come to destroy. Silence. It talks, someone whispered. We have heard enough of destruction, Skyrend continued. The Dragonborn added. We're here to stop someone worse. A pause. Murok. That name changed everything. The guards lowered their weapons slightly. You're here for him, one asked. Yeah. More hesitation. Then, weapons lowered. Then get off the ship, the guard said. And don't cause trouble. The Dragonborn smirked. No promises. He stepped off the ship. Skyrend followed. And Raven Rock watched. Elsewhere, Delphine didn't slow down. Cities. Villages. Strongholds. Everywhere she went, people already knew the name. The Dragonborn. The one who defeated Alduin. Who commands dragons. Who stands against everything. You're recruiting for him, a warrior asked. Yes. That was enough. Men and women stepped forward. Soldiers. Mercenaries. Even former bandits. All drawn to something bigger. The blades grew. Vast. Odavying landed beside her after another successful stop. You gather many. Delphine smirked slightly. Turns out people like joining the winning side. Odavying nodded. They will need training. They'll get it. For the first time in a long time. The blades weren't hiding. They were rising. Back at Skyhaven Temple, Esbern stood over a massive map. Thinking. Planning. This won't hold, he muttered. A shadow moved behind him. Oryx. You think ahead. Esbern turned slightly. I try. Oryx looked at the temple. Too small. Esbern sighed. I know. More dragons will come, Oryx continued. Yes. Then this place will fail. Esbern frowned slightly. So what do you suggest? Oryx's eyes narrowed slightly. There is a place. Esbern paused. Where? Blackreach. Silence. That's underground, Esbern said. Yes. Ancient, forgotten, vast. Oryx stepped forward slightly. It can hold armies. Esbern's mind started racing. And dragons. Oryx nodded. Clear it. Expand it. Claim it. Esbern's eyes widened slightly. A new base. A kingdom, Oryx corrected. Silence. For the Dragonborn, Esbern finished. Oryx gave a low rumble. And his army. Esbern looked back at the map. It's perfect. Hidden. Massive. Defensible. We could build there. Oryx added. And make passage for dragons. Esbern nodded slowly. I'll bring this to Delphine. Because Skyhaven Temple was only the beginning. Back in Raven Rock, the Dragonborn stepped onto solid ground. Ash crunched beneath his boots. The air felt wrong. Heavy. Corrupted. He looked around. People stared. Some in fear. Some in awe. Behind him, Skyrend stood tall. Unmoving. Watching everything. This is it, the Dragonborn said quietly. Yes, Skyrend replied. Murok's territory. The Dragonborn nodded. Then let's find him. Because now, this wasn't about Skyrim. This was about something deeper. Something older. And far more dangerous. Another Dragonborn. The camp outside Skyhaven Temple had grown faster than anyone expected. Too fast. Tents stretched across the rocky ground. Training drills echoed from dawn to dusk. New recruits arrived almost daily. And inside, Delphine stood at the center of it all. Watching. Thinking. This isn't going to work, she muttered. A nearby recruit overheard. What is? Delphine didn't answer immediately. She looked around. At the numbers. At the cramped space. At the reality setting in. Then she turned. All of you, listen up. The noise died quickly. Dozens of eyes turned to her. You deserve the truth, she said. A pause. We don't have enough space. Murmurs broke out instantly. What? Then why are we here? You recruited us. She didn't flinch. Yeah, she said. I did. The murmurs grew louder. Confusion. Frustration. One of the recruits stepped forward. So what? We just stand around waiting for a place to sleep. Delphine's expression hardened. No. Silence cut through the noise. Because this isn't about comfort. Her voice carried now. Sharp. Focused. This is about what's coming. The recruits quieted. The Thalmor aren't done, she continued. They've already started moving. A pause. They lost ground. They lost agents. They lost control. Her eyes narrowed slightly. And they're not going to let that slide. The weight of her words settled. They're shifting their focus, she said. Here. To Skyrim. Silence. Real silence this time. War, someone asked quietly. Delphine nodded. Yeah. Another pause. And when it comes, she glanced around at them all. I'd rather have too many soldiers than not enough. That hit. Hard. You weren't recruited for comfort, she said. You were recruited because you're needed. The tension shifted. Not gone, but different. Understanding. One recruit spoke up. Then what's the plan? Delphine smirked slightly. Now you're asking the right question. She turned toward Sky Haven Temple. We regroup. A pause. And we adapt. The journey back wasn't slow. Because she didn't walk. Odavying landed beside her. I will carry you. She climbed on without hesitation. Let's move. They took to the sky. The recruits followed on foot, in smaller groups, guided by messengers and newly appointed leaders. From above, Delphine could see it clearly now. The scale of what was coming. The need for more. More soldiers. More space. More power. When they landed at Skyhaven Temple, the dragons were already waiting. Vorthal. Sindral. Razek. Oryx. Watching. Planning. Delphine slid down and walked forward. We've got a problem, she said immediately. Oryx tilted his head slightly. You lack space. She paused. You already knew. Yes. Vorthal stepped forward. Change is required. Delphine crossed her arms. Yeah, we're working on it. She turned to Odavying. I need you to do something else. He stepped closer. Speak. Join them, she said, gesturing to the others. A pause. Find more dragons. Odavying's gaze sharpened. You expand the force. Exactly. Sindral gave a low rumble. The skis will not be empty much longer. Razek added with a faint grin. They won't know what hit them. Vorthal looked out toward the horizon. The Thalmor prepare. Oryx finished. So do we. Odavying spread his wings. I will find those who will listen. Delphine nodded. Good. Because while the Dragonborn fought Murok, everything else was accelerating. The blades were growing. The dragons were gathering. And the Thalmor were coming. This wasn't just preparation anymore. This was the beginning of war. Skyhaven Temple buzzed with movement. Steel, voices, plans. But beneath all of it, a problem. Too many people. Not enough space. Delphine stood over a rough map when Esbern rushed in, eyes wide, not with panic, but excitement. Delphine, he said, almost out of breath. I've found it. She didn't look up at first. Found what? A solution. That got her attention. She turned. This better be good. Esbern spread a map across the table. Not of Scaram's surface, but beneath it. Blackreach, he said. Delphine frowned slightly. That Dwemer cavern. Yes, Esbern replied. Ancient, massive, forgotten. Oryx, listening nearby, gave a low, approving rumble. It can hold armies. Delphine crossed her arms. And it's full of things that want to kill us. Not for long, Esbern said. He pointed to a location. The Tower of Emzark. Recognition hit instantly. The Dragonborn just came from there, she said. Exactly, Esbern nodded. It's a direct access point. A pause. We expand it. Delphine blinked. Expand it. Widen the entrance. Reinforce the structure. Create a passage large enough for... He glanced at Oryx. Dragons. Silence. Then, Delphine slowly smiled. You're serious. Esbern nodded. We send the dragons in first. Oryx's eyes gleamed slightly. They clear it. Vorthal stepped forward. Then it becomes yours. Delphine looked back at the map. A hidden fortress. A kingdom, Oryx corrected again. This time, she didn't argue. All right, she said. She turned toward the growing ranks outside. We move now. The march to the Tower of Emzark wasn't quiet. Recruits moved with purpose. Tools carried alongside weapons. Whispers spread quickly. We're building something. A new base. For the Dragonborn. By the time they arrived, excitement had replaced doubt. The Tower of Emzark stood silent as ever. Ancient. Unyielding. But not for long. Delphine stepped forward. This is it. She turned to the recruits. This is where we start. A pause. We're not just rebuilding the blades. More silence. More attention. We're building something bigger. Esbern stepped beside her. A kingdom beneath Skyrim. That did it. Murmurs turned into energy. Into purpose. For the Dragonborn, someone said. Delphine smirked slightly. Yeah. Exactly. She turned back to the tower. Then get to work. The first strikes echoed through the stone. Pickaxes. Hammers. Magic. The ancient Dwemer structure resisted at first. But not for long. Because this wasn't just labor. This was driven. Walls were broken down. Reinforced. Reshaped. Mages melted stone where tools failed. Smiths reinforced weak points with steel. And above them, the dragons watched. Vorthal. Sindral. Razek. Oryx. Observing. Waiting. This will hold, Vorthal said. It must, Delphine replied. Hours passed. Then more. Day turned to night. Night turned to day. No one stopped. Because every strike of the hammer, every carved stone, was building something real. Something theirs. By the end, the entrance was unrecognizable. What had once been a narrow, ancient doorway was now massive. Wide. Reinforced. Strong enough for dragons to pass through. Delphine stood at the base of it. Looking up. That'll do. Esbern nodded beside her. It's only the beginning. Behind them, the recruits gathered. Tired. Covered in dust. But smiling. He's going to lose it when he sees this, one said. Another laughed. We're building a kingdom under his feet, and he has no idea. Delphine allowed herself a small grin. Yeah. A glance at the entrance. Let's keep it that way. Above. Oryx stepped forward. It is ready. Vorthal nodded. Then we begin the next step. Sindrel's wings shifted slightly. Clearing. Razek grinned. Finally. Delphine looked up at them. Make it safe. Oryx's voice rumbled deep. It will be done. And as the massive entrance to Blackreach stood complete, the foundation of something far greater had been laid. A hidden kingdom. A rising army. And soon, a place where dragons and warriors would stand together. Unstoppable. The sky above the Tower of Emzark grew, crowded. At first, it was just the familiar shapes. Vorthal. Sindrel. Razek. Oryx. Then, a distant roar. Heads turned. Recruits paused. Another shadow crossed the sky. Then another. Then, more. They're coming, one blade whispered. From every direction. They arrived. Dragons. Not one. Not a handful. 17 in total. Different sizes. Different colors. Different ages. Some scarred from ancient battles. Some younger, but powerful. All answering the same call. The recruit stared in stunned silence. How many is that? One muttered. Too many, another replied. Oryx stepped forward. They have chosen. Vorthal's deep voice followed. To stand. Sindrel added. With the Dragonborn. The newly arrived dragons landed one by one. The ground trembling beneath their weight. One of them, a massive bronze-scaled dragon, looked around. So this is where it begins. Razek grinned. Yeah. Let's see if it's worth it. Delphine stepped forward, completely unfazed. Good. All eyes, human and dragon, shifted to her. We've got work to do. The entrance to Blackreach stood open. Massive. Dark. Endless. Oryx moved first. Spread out. The dragons obeyed instantly. 17 new dragons. 5 veterans. 22 total. They entered. The cavern swallowed them. Darkness. Then, light. Bioluminescent glow filled the massive underground world. Even the dragons paused. Impressive, one murmured. Dangerous, another added. Vorthal's voice echoed through the cavern. Clear it. And they did. They split apart. Fire lit the darkness. Lightning cracked through the air. Frost spread across the ground. Creatures lurking in the shadows. Gone. Falmer. Dwemer constructs. Things long forgotten. All hunted. All destroyed. Above, the blades began to move in. Delphine led the first wave. Move carefully, she ordered. But the sounds ahead told them everything. The dragons were doing their job. I almost feel bad for whatever lived down here, one recruit said. Almost, another replied. Hours passed. Then, silence. The cavern was theirs. For the first time in ages. Blackreach was clear. Delphine stepped forward into the open space. Looking around. This is bigger than I thought. Esper nodded slowly. We could build anything here. Then we do, Delphine said. Construction began immediately. Marked areas. Cleared land. Organized effort. Barracks here. Storage there. Keep it structured. The first priority. Shelter. Places for soldiers to rest. Recover. Live. Temporary structures rose quickly. Simple. Functional. But it was a start. Above them, dragons watched from stone ledges and massive pillars. Guarding. Waiting. Oryx looked over everything. This will grow. Vorthal nodded. It must. Back at the Tower of Emzark, it transformed as well. From ruin to base, temporary headquarters. Beds were set up, supplies organized, mess halls established. Workers came and went. A place to rest, to plan, to prepare. Delphine stood at the center of it, watching it all come together. "This is just the beginning," she said. Esbern stepped beside her. "And it's already more than we hoped." She shook her head slightly. "Not enough." A pause. "We need more." Esbern glanced at her. "More people," she said. She turned. "Builders, laborers." Another pause. "And fighters." Her expression hardened. "Real fighters. Trainers. So when this army is ready, they won't just stand there." Esbern nodded slowly. "You're thinking ahead." Delphine smirked faintly. "Someone has to." She looked toward the sky. "I'm heading back out. To recruit." Esbern sighed lightly. "Of course you are." She started walking. "Keep this running." A pause. "And don't let anything fall apart." Outside, Odavying waited. "You leave again?" "Yeah." "Good," he said. She raised an eyebrow. "Good. We need more." She smirked. "Exactly." She climbed onto his back. "Let's go find them." Odavying launched into the sky. Behind them, Blackreach pulsed with life once more. Not as a ruin, but as something new. A kingdom in the making. An army rising. Dragons above. Warriors below. And when the Dragonborn returned, nothing would be the same. Blackreach didn't stay quiet for long. Not with this many people. Not with this much ambition. The first wave of barracks stood tall now. Rough. Unfinished. But standing. Rows of simple homes followed. Walls up, roofs secured, doors hung. "Just needs furnishing," one recruit said, stepping back and wiping sweat from his brow. "Better than sleeping on stone," another replied. But something else had begun to change. In the open spaces between construction zones, steel clashed. Recruits sparred. Not playfully. Not casually. Seriously. Because they had seen it. Heard it. Felt it. Dragons above them. Stories of war. Whispers of the Thalmor. "We're not ready," one muttered after getting knocked down. His opponent offered a hand. "Not yet. But we will be." Nearby, another pair trained harder. Faster. "We're nothing compared to real soldiers," one said, breathing heavily. "Then we stop being nothing," the other shot back. That was when Esbern arrived. He watched silently at first. Observed. Measured. Then he spoke. "You've already taken the first step." The recruit stopped. Turned. "You've realized your weakness." Silence. And instead of running from it, he gestured around. "You're confronting it." A pause. "That is how warriors are made." The tension eased slightly. "We've got a long way to go," one admitted. Esbern nodded. "Yes." Then his expression shifted. "But I need some of you." That got their attention. For something else. He gestured deeper into Blackreach. "We've only seen a fraction of this place." A pause. "And that's a problem." One recruit frowned. "You think there are more entrances?" Esbern nodded. "There almost certainly are." Another spoke up. "And if there are?" His voice hardened slightly. "We destroy them." Silence. "All of them?" someone asked. "Yes." Esbern stepped forward. "If Blackreach is to become our stronghold, it must be secure." He looked around at them all. One entrance. The Tower of Emzark. Controlled. Defended. Another recruit hesitated. And the others? Espern's voice dropped slightly. Most lead to ruins. A pause. Ruins filled with things we do not want walking into our home. That settled it. I'm in, one said. Same, another added. One by one. Hands raised. Espern nodded. Good. He turned. And above. Dragons shifted. Oryx stepped forward. You will not go alone. Two of the newer dragons dropped down beside the group. We will scout ahead, one said. And destroy what must be destroyed, the other added. Espern gave a small, grateful nod. Then let's move. They disappeared into the deeper reaches of Blackreach. Searching. Clearing. Sealing off the unknown. Behind them, construction continued. More homes finished. Rows of them now. Waiting only for furniture. For life. For people. Blackreach was changing fast. From ruin. To city. From city. To something greater. Far above. Delphine didn't stop moving. Town to town. Hold to hold. More recruits joined. Builders. Fighters. Smiths. But she wasn't just looking for numbers now. She was looking for strength. Real strength. And then, she found him. Standing alone. Massive. Armored in ebony. Silent. Watching the horizon. She approached without hesitation. You're hard to miss. The warrior didn't turn. Most people don't approach me. Most people aren't me, Delphine replied. A pause. He turned slightly. What do you want? She crossed her arms. I'm rebuilding something. No reaction. The blades. That got his attention. I've heard of them. Good, she said. Then you know what we stand for. A pause. And what do you want with me? Delphine smirked slightly. You. Another pause. For what? She stepped closer. To train soldiers. Silence. You think I'm a teacher? He asked. No, Delphine said. I think you're the strongest warrior I've seen. That didn't impress him. Flattery won't work. Good, she replied. Because that wasn't flattery. A pause. War is coming. That made him look at her fully. The Thalmor, she continued. They're preparing. And when they come... She stepped closer. I want soldiers who can actually fight. Silence stretched. And you think I can make that happen, he said. I know you can. Another pause. Why should I care? Delphine's voice dropped slightly. Because this isn't about politics. It's about survival. A longer silence. Then, a shift. Where? He asked. Delphine smirked. Blackreach. The ebony warrior looked toward the horizon again. A hidden kingdom. Exactly. A pause. And the Dragonborn. Delphine's smirk grew slightly. He's the one building it. That did it. The ebony warrior nodded once. Then I'll see what your soldiers are worth. Delphine turned. Good. Because now, they didn't just have numbers. They had something far more dangerous. Someone who could turn recruits into warriors. The wind howled as they approached the Tower of Emzark. Odaviing descended first. Massive wings cutting through the air as he landed before the newly carved entrance. Behind him, Delphine, the ebony warrior, and a fresh group of recruits. They stopped, because the entrance wasn't what it used to be. You weren't exaggerating, the ebony warrior said quietly. The once narrow Dwemer doorway had become something massive. Reinforced. Engineered. Built for something far beyond men. For dragons, Delphine said simply. Odavying studied it. Impressive. Delphine smirked slightly. Yeah, we've been busy. She stepped forward. Let's go. They entered. The descent was long. Echoing. Then, they stepped into Blackreach. And everything stopped. What? One recruit whispered. It wasn't just a cavern anymore. It was changing. Structures stood where ruin once dominated. Rows of homes. Barracks. Clear pathways. Marked construction zones. Light from glowing plants illuminated a growing city. Even Delphine paused. They actually did it. Odavying's eyes narrowed slightly. This grows faster than expected. The ebony warrior said nothing at first. He simply looked. Measured. This could become something real, he finally said. Delphine nodded. It will. He turned slightly toward her. And your soldiers. She exhaled. We focused on housing first. A pause. But that changes now. Her voice sharpened. Start furnishing everything that's finished. Recruits immediately moved. Beds, storage, make it livable. She continued, without hesitation. And I want 10 blacksmith shops started immediately. That got reactions. 10, one recruit asked. We're building an army, Delphine replied. Act like it. The energy shifted instantly. Purpose. Direction. The ebony warrior walked forward slowly. His eyes fell on a group of recruits training nearby. Steel clashed. Movements rough, but improving. They're trying, he said. Delphine crossed her arms. They know they're weak. A recruit was knocked down, then immediately got back up. They don't want to stay that way. The ebony warrior watched a moment longer. Good. Delphine turned suddenly. Everyone. Her voice echoed through Blackreach. Gather up. Construction slowed. Training paused. People gathered quickly. Curious. Waiting. Delphine stepped forward. We've grown fast. A pause. But we're not ready. No arguments this time. Not yet. She gestured behind her. That changes now. The ebony warrior stepped forward. Massive. Silent. Commanding. This, Delphine said, is your trainer. A pause. And one of the future high commanders of the Dragonborn's army. Murmurs spread instantly. That's the ebony warrior. He's real. We're being trained by him. The ebony warrior didn't react. He just looked at them. We'll see if you're worth the effort, he said. That shut them up instantly. Then, movement at the far edge of the cavern. Espen returned, along with the scouting party. And dragons. More dragons. They stepped into view. And the ebony warrior finally reacted. His head tilted slightly upward. How many? He muttered. Above. They circled. Rested. Watched. 21, he said. Delphine shook her head slightly. 22. Silence. 22, someone whispered. Delphine nodded. The Dragonborn took one with him. That hit. Where is he? A recruit asked. Delphine's expression hardened slightly. Handling something else. A pause. Something big. The ebony warrior looked back at her. Bigger than this. She met his gaze. Another Dragonborn. Silence dropped like a hammer. What? Multiple voices said at once. Espen stepped forward. His name is Murok. Ancient fear lingered in his voice. He tried to have the Dragonborn killed. More silence. Delphine continued. But when it happened... A pause. Alduin had returned. Understanding began to form. The Dragonborn made a choice, she said. He went after the bigger threat first. Alduin, one recruit whispered. She nodded. And now? Her eyes hardened. He's finishing what he started. The ebony warrior looked up again. At the dragons. At the scale of everything. 22 dragons. Then back at the recruits. And a dragonborn who fights gods. A pause. You're building something dangerous. Delphine smirked slightly. Exactly. She turned to everyone. So get to work. Construction resumed. Training intensified. Because now, they understood. This wasn't just an army. This was preparation for something far beyond war. And somewhere far away, the Dragonborn was facing it alone. For now, ash fell like snow in Raven Rock. But it didn't melt. It stayed. The Dragonborn walked through the streets slowly, taking it all in. Thin faces. Tired eyes. Empty stalls. What happened here? He muttered. Skyrend walked behind him, drawing stairs with every step. This land suffers, the dragon said. Yeah, the Dragonborn replied. And not just from Murok. A marketplace stood ahead. Or what used to be one. Half the stalls were empty. The rest barely stocked. They're starving, he said quietly. Not completely. But close enough. That was when he made the decision. We're not just here to fight. Skyrend tilted his head slightly. No. We're here to fix this too. The meeting wasn't easy to arrange. Guards were hesitant. Officials nervous. But the name carried weight. The Dragonborn. The one who defeated Alduin. Eventually, he was brought before Raven Rock's leader. The man looked worn. But strong. So it's true, he said. The Dragonborn nodded. Yeah. A glance toward the door. And you brought a dragon. Yeah. A pause. You're either insane or exactly what we need. The Dragonborn smirked slightly. I'm here to help. That got his full attention. How? The Dragonborn stepped forward. I'm establishing a blade outpost here. Silence. The blades, the leader asked. Yeah. A pause. To fight what's coming. The man studied him carefully. And what exactly is coming? The Dragonborn didn't sugarcoat it. The Thalmor. That landed heavy. We've heard rumors, the man admitted. They're not rumors, the Dragonborn said. Another pause. But this isn't just about war. He gestured slightly. I've seen your people. We're surviving, the man said. Barely, the Dragonborn replied. Silence. I can change that. That made him lean forward. How? Supplies. Food. Workers. A pause. I'll have them sent here. The leader blinked. Why? The Dragonborn shrugged slightly. Because if I'm going to fight here, I'm not doing it while your people starve. Silence filled the room. Then, something shifted. Respect. You're serious, the leader said. Yeah. A long pause. Then you'll have our support. The Dragonborn nodded once. Good. An alliance. Formed not by fear, but by action. Outside. Skyrend waited. The Dragonborn stepped out. It's done. Skyrend looked at him. They trust you. Yeah. A pause. But now we need to deliver. He looked toward the sky. And for that, he inhaled deeply. I need help. Skyrend stepped back slightly. You call them. The Dragonborn nodded. He focused. Chose the voice. Then shouted. Odahving. The call tore through the sky. echoing, reaching, far beyond Solstheim. Back to Skyrim. Back to Blackreach. Miles away. Odaviing stopped mid-flight. He calls. Without hesitation. He turned, launching into the sky at full speed. Back in Raven Rock. The Dragonborn lowered his voice. He'll get the message to Delphine. Skyrend nodded. What will you ask for? Everything they can spare, the Dragonborn said. Food, supplies, workers. A pause. We're building something bigger than Skyrim now. Skyrend looked out across the ash-covered land. And this place will be part of it. Exactly. The Dragonborn exhaled slowly. Now we find Murok. Because while alliances formed, and armies rose, there was still one threat waiting. Watching. Another Dragonborn. And this time, he wasn't going to wait. The ash winds over Raven Rock suddenly shifted. A roar tore across the sky. People froze. Not again, someone whispered. Guards rushed forward, weapons drawn as a massive shape descended through the ash clouds. Odaviing. He landed hard in the center of Raven Rock, wings spreading wide, dust and ash blasting outward in a shockwave. Panic erupted. Dragon. Get back. The Dragonborn stepped forward immediately, raising a hand. Relax. No one listened. Until Skyrend stepped beside him. 2 dragons. That stopped them. Wait, one guard said slowly. There's 2 of them. The Dragonborn sighed. Yeah. He turned slightly. They're with me. Silence. With you, another asked. The Dragonborn nodded. I don't just have 1. A pause. I have 6. That alone was enough to shake the crowd. 6, someone repeated. Odaviing stepped forward. That was true. All eyes snapped to him. Was, the Dragonborn asked. Odaviing looked directly at him. It is no longer 6. A pause. It is 22. Silence. Absolute silence. What? The Dragonborn said. Even Skyrend turned his head slightly. Odaviing continued. The others have gathered more. Many more. Dragons now answer your call across Skyrim. The Dragonborn blinked. 22. A slow breath. Delphine, been busy. The people of Raven Rock just stared. 22 dragons, one whispered. And he's helping us, another said. The weight of that realization hit hard. The Dragonborn shook his head slightly. All right, we'll process that later. He turned back to Odaviing. I called you for a reason. Odaviing nodded. Speak. We need supplies, the Dragonborn said. Food, materials, workers. He gestured around Raven Rock. They're barely holding on. Odaviing looked around. Really looked. At the people. At the empty stores. At the ash. I see. A pause. They will not survive what is coming. Exactly, the Dragonborn said. Odaviing nodded once. I will carry your message. Without hesitation. He spread his wings. I will return quickly. And then, he launched into the sky, leaving Raven Rock in stunned silence. Far across the sea, over Skyrim, Odaviing flew without slowing. Straight to Blackreach. Straight to the growing kingdom. He landed at the Tower of Emzark, his arrival shaking the structure. Delphine stepped out immediately. That was fast. Odaviing didn't waste time. The Dragonborn sends word. Her expression sharpened instantly. Talk. Raven Rock suffers. A pause. They lack food, supplies, workers. Delphine sighed quietly. Of course they do. Odaviing continued. He asks for aid. Another pause. All we can spare. Delphine crossed her arms, thinking. Then, she nodded. Yeah. A faint smirk appeared. That sounds like him. She turned immediately. Everyone. The call echoed through the tower and into Blackreach. Recruits. Workers. Builders. They gathered quickly. Delphine stood before them. The Dragonborn needs help. That was enough to silence everything. He's in Raven Rock. A pause. And the people there. She glanced at Esbern briefly. They're struggling. Murmurs spread. They don't have enough food. They don't have enough resources. Her voice sharpened. And he's trying to fix that. A pause. Because that's what he does. Silence. Then, understanding. One recruit stepped forward. What do you need? Delphine smirked slightly. Volunteers. That was all it took. Hands went up. Dozens. I'll go. Me too. Count me in. Even some of the darker, quieter recruits stepped forward. They're still people, one muttered. Delphine nodded. Good. She turned. The dark elves of Raven Rock, they've been holding out alone. That hit some of them harder. We're not leaving them like that, she said. More volunteers stepped forward. Then, she turned toward the edge of the group. The ebony warrior stood there. Silent. Waiting. You, she said. He looked at her. You've been waiting to meet him, she continued. A pause. Here's your chance. Silence. You want me to go, he said. Yes. She crossed her arms. I'll handle training for now. Another pause. Or find more commanders if I need to. The ebony warrior looked toward the cavern. At the growing army. At the dragons above. Then back at her. I'll go. Delphine smirked. Good. Because now, they weren't just building a kingdom. They were expanding it. Across the sea. Across the world. And when the Dragonborn called, they answered. The Sea of Ghosts was no calmer this time. 6 ships cut across its frozen waters. 2 carried men. 4 carried hope. Food. Supplies. Materials. And above them, shadows moved. 8 dragons. Circling. Guarding. Watching. Any pirate ship that dared get close. Turned away the moment they saw what escorted the fleet. Not worth it, one distant captain muttered before fleeing. The journey was long, but untouched, because no one was foolish enough to challenge a fleet guarded by dragons. Raven Rock came into view. And once again, the town stopped. That's more ships, a guard said. And more dragons, another added. The first ship docked. Then the second. Then the third. Until all 6 stood at port. The people of Raven Rock gathered slowly. Watching. Waiting. The Dragonborn stepped forward. Told you I'd deliver, he said quietly. Skyrend stood beside him, wings slightly spread. The first to step off the ships were the blades. Armor gleaming. Swords at their sides. Uniform. Disciplined. Then the workers followed, carrying tools, supplies, and finally, the ebony warrior, towering above most, silent, observing. The Dragonborn stepped forward to meet them. You came. One of the blades nodded. You called. The Dragonborn smiled slightly. Yeah. He looked across all of them. Thank you. Simple, but real. Most of them straightened at that. Because this wasn't just an order. It mattered. Then, he turned. To Raven Rock. The people looked up. I need your help. A pause. Unload everything. Silence. Then, they saw it. Crates. Barrels. Food. More than they had seen in years. Is this all for us? Someone whispered. The Dragonborn nodded. Yeah, that was it. People broke. Tears. Shock. Relief. We're saved, one said, voice shaking. He actually did it, another whispered. They rushed forward. Helping. Lifting. Unloading. Not out of obligation, but gratitude. Amid the movement, the Dragonborn's eyes landed on one man. Still, unmoving. Watching him. The ebony warrior. Their gazes met. A moment passed. Then the Dragonborn walked toward him. You're not a blade, he said. The ebony warrior shook his head. No. A pause. I was told to come. The Dragonborn studied him. Felt it immediately. Strength. Real strength. You're a warrior, he said. Yes. Silence. Then, the Dragonborn smirked. Good. A pause. Let's test that. The ebony warrior's eyes narrowed slightly. A challenge. Just a spar, the Dragonborn replied. That was enough. I accept. Word spread instantly. People gathered. Blades. Workers. Citizens. Even the dragons watched from above. A circle formed. The Dragonborn stepped into it. So did the ebony warrior. Silence fell. Then, they moved. The ebony warrior struck first. Vast. Heavy. His blade came down with crushing force. The Dragonborn blocked. Steel ringing as the impact shook the ground beneath them. Good, the Dragonborn muttered. He pushed back. Countered. Their blades clashed again. And again. The ebony warrior pressed forward relentlessly. Power. Precision. Each strike meant to overwhelm. But the Dragonborn adapted. Dodged. Shifted. Countered. A quick step. A shout. FUS. The ebony warrior slid back slightly. But didn't fall. A grin formed beneath his helm. Now this is a fight. He charged again. Faster. Stronger. The Dragonborn met him head-on. Steel blurred. The sound of impact echoed across Raven Rock. Blow after blow. Until the Dragonborn shifted. A feint. A step to the side. Then, a precise strike. The ebony warrior's weapon was knocked from his hand. Silence. The Dragonborn's blade stopped just short of his chest. A breath. Then, he lowered it. Good fight. The ebony warrior stood still for a moment. Then, he nodded. You are worthy. He bent slightly. Not submission. Respect. The crowd erupted. Cheers. Shock. Because they had just witnessed something incredible. The strongest warrior they had ever seen. Defeated. And the Dragonborn stood at the center of it all. Not just a hero. Not just a leader. But something more. Something unstoppable. And now, he wasn't alone. The cheers hadn't fully faded when the Dragonborn turned back to the ebony warrior. I need you, he said. The ebony warrior didn't hesitate. For what? The Dragonborn glanced toward the edge of Raven Rock. There's a stone out there. A pause. People are building it. That's not unusual, the ebony warrior said. The Dragonborn shook his head. Against their will. Silence. They don't even realize it, he continued. Skyrend growled low behind him. It is corruption. The Dragonborn nodded. Murok. The name carried weight now. He's controlling them, the Dragonborn said, turning them into slaves. The ebony warrior's grip tightened slightly. Then we destroy it. We will, the Dragonborn said. A pause. But there's something else first. He looked toward the mine. An old ebony mine. Ebony, the warrior asked. Yeah. Another pause. It gives me a bad feeling. That got his attention. You're afraid of it. The Dragonborn didn't deny it. Yeah. Silence. Which means we check it out, the ebony warrior said. The Dragonborn smirked slightly. Exactly. The mine was quiet. Too quiet. The air felt wrong the moment they stepped inside. This place is dead, the ebony warrior muttered. No, the Dragonborn replied quietly. It's worse than dead. They moved deeper. Then, a sound. Dragging. Scraping. From the shadows. They came. Draugr. Dozens. Eyes glowing. Weapons raised. The ebony warrior moved first. A single swing. Two fell. The Dragonborn followed. Lightning arcing from his hand. Burning through another group. More came. Endless. From every tunnel. Every corner. Steel clashed. Magic roared. Effuus Aroda. The shout blasted a wave of Draugr into the walls. The ebony warrior charged through them. Relentless. Unstoppable. Good, the Dragonborn called out. They're worth fighting. Deeper they went. The Draugr grew stronger. Restless. Whites. Scourges. Until they reached the chamber. And the air changed. There, the Dragonborn said. A figure stood at the far end. Still. Silent. Then, it moved. A dragon priest. Ancient. Powerful. Its mask gleamed in the dim light. Its voice echoed. Unnatural. The Dragonborn stepped back slightly. This one's yours. The ebony warrior didn't hesitate. Finally, the priest rose into the air. Magic surged. Fire. Frost. Lightning. The ebony warrior pushed forward anyway. Taking hits. Blocking others. Closing the distance. The priest unleashed a blast. But the warrior endured it. Step by step. Until he reached it. And struck. The first blow staggered it. The second shattered its defense. The third ended it. The priest collapsed. Dust. Silence. The ebony warrior stood still for a moment. Then picked up the mask. He walked to the Dragonborn. This belongs to you. He handed it over. The Dragonborn took it. You earned it. The warrior shook his head. You're the Dragonborn. A pause. You'll need it more. The Dragonborn accepted. Fair enough. Then, he felt it. Wait. A pull. Dark. Wrong. They turned. There. A pedestal. A book. Black. Breathing. That's not normal, the ebony warrior said. No, the Dragonborn replied. It's not. He stepped forward. This is something else. Without hesitation. He opened it. The world shattered. Darkness. Endless. Tentacles. Eyes. And a presence. Ancient. Watching. You seek Nala. The voice echoed everywhere. And you find me. The Dragonborn stood firm. Hermias Mora. The Daedric prince shifted in the void. You know my name. I know enough. A pause. You walk dangerous paths, Dragonborn. So do you, the Dragonborn replied. Silence. Then, power surged. Trials. Challenges. Knowledge forced into action. The Dragonborn fought through it. Resisted it. Mastered it. And when it ended, the voice returned. You learn. A pause. Very well. Power settled into him. Something new. Something controlled. When he returned, he gasped slightly. Back in the mine, the ebony warrior stood ready. You were gone, he said. I know. The Dragonborn exhaled slowly. But I got something out of it. A pause. My voice. He looked at his hand. It won't harm allies anymore. Understanding hit quickly. That's powerful, the ebony warrior said. Yeah. Then his expression hardened. But it's worse than I thought. A pause. It's not just Murrock. Silence. There's more, the warrior said. The Dragonborn nodded. Hermias Mora. Even the ebony warrior reacted to that. A Daedric prince. Yeah. The one who knows everything. The one behind this. Silence. Then this is bigger than we thought, the warrior said. Way bigger. They left the mine. The air outside felt cleaner. Better. The Dragonborn stepped forward as the blades approached. The mine is clear, he said. Relief spread instantly. And there's more ebony deeper in. Hope. We can rebuild, someone said. We can trade again, another added. The Dragonborn nodded. That's the good news. A pause. He looked at the blades specifically. The bad news stays with us. They understood. Moved closer. Lower voices. It's worse than Murrock. Silence. There's a Daedric prince involved. Shock. Who? One asked. The Dragonborn's voice dropped. Hermias Mora. Fear. Real fear. Then we're in deeper than we thought, a blade said. The Dragonborn nodded. Yeah. A pause. But we're not backing down. Behind him, Skyrend growled softly. And beside him, the ebony warrior stood ready. Because now, this wasn't just a fight. It was a war of gods. And the Dragonborn had just stepped into it. The ash winds had barely settled when the Dragonborn turned to the blades at Raven Rock. We don't keep this to ourselves, he said. A few of them straightened immediately. You're sending word back, one guessed. Yeah, the Dragonborn replied. He looked between them. Pick a few of your fastest. A pause. I want this message delivered to Delphine and Esbern now. The soldiers didn't hesitate. Yes, Dragonborn. As they prepared to leave, he added. Tell them everything. A pause. Murrock. Another. And Hermias Mora. That alone made even seasoned blades uneasy. And tell them I need a plan, he finished. The soldiers nodded. We'll get it there. They boarded one of the returning ships and set sail. Blackridge days later. The transformation was nearly complete. What had once been a forgotten cavern was now something else entirely. Rows of homes stood finished. Barracks filled with soldiers. Training grounds alive with movement. The 10 blacksmith shops burned bright. Forging weapons. Armor. Strength. Only a few things remained. Armories. And one massive, unfinished foundation. The Dragonborn's future castle. Delphine stood at its edge, arms crossed. He's going to hate how big we're making this, she muttered. Esbern chuckled lightly. Or love it. Before she could reply, a horn sounded from the tower of Emzark. Both turned instantly. Incoming, Delphine said. Moments later, the returning soldiers rushed in. covered in ash. Exhausted. But urgent. We need Esbern and Delphine, now. They were already there. What happened? Delphine demanded. The soldier didn't waste time. It's worse than we thought. A pause. Murak isn't alone. Esbern's expression darkened. Go on. The soldier swallowed. There's a Diedrich prince involved. Silence fell instantly. Which one? Delphine asked. The answer came like a blade. Hermias Mora. Even the dragons nearby shifted uneasily. Esbern's face went pale. The keeper of forbidden knowledge. The soldier nodded. The Dragonborn confirmed it himself. Delphine exhaled slowly. Of course he did. Another pause. He wants a plan. Both of them looked up. A plan, Esbern repeated. To deal with a Diedrich prince. Silence. That's not exactly something you just plan, Delphine muttered. But the soldier wasn't done. He also said. A pause. Once you have one. He looked directly at Delphine. He wants you in Raven Rock. Her eyes narrowed slightly. Why? The answer came quickly. He says the island is critical. A strategic point. For launching attacks against the Thalmor when the war begins. That clicked immediately. He's thinking ahead, Delphine said quietly. Esbern nodded slowly. As always. Delphine turned. Already thinking. We finish here. She gestured around. Armories, final defenses. Then, I leave for Raven Rock. A pause. By dragon. Odavieng, nearby, gave a low approving rumble. And the plan? Esbern asked. Delphine exhaled. We start figuring out how to fight something that shouldn't be fought. Esbern nodded. Then we begin immediately. Because now, this wasn't just war. This was something far older. Far more dangerous. Elsewhere. Far from Skyrim. Far from Solstheim. In a cold, controlled chamber. Thalmor leadership gathered. The air was tense. Report, one commanded. A soldier stepped forward. We've lost Skyrim. Silence. Explain, the leader said calmly. The soldier swallowed. Dragons. A pause. Multiple. They targeted our forces specifically. Another pause. We couldn't hold. The room grew colder. And the blades, the leader asked. They're rebuilding. That got attention. Openly recruiting. Another pause. We tried to locate their base. And failed. Silence stretched. Then, the leader spoke. So, a slow step forward. Dragons return. The blades rise. And Skyrim unites under a single force. Another pause. The Dragonborn. No one spoke. Because they all knew what that meant. We act now, the leader said. Another stepped forward. An invasion. The leader's eyes hardened. Yes. A pause. We take Skyrim back. Another. Before this army grows any further. Orders were given. Plans set in motion. Because the Thalmor understood something now. If they waited, they would lose everything. And so, war was no longer coming. It had begun. Raven Rock was no longer the same place. Crates of food lined the streets. Workers moved with purpose. Fires burned brighter. Where there had been despair, there was now hope. The Dragonborn stood overlooking it all. Then he turned to the blades. We're not stopping here. They listened. We're making this permanent. He pointed toward an open stretch of land, near the heart of Raven Rock. A blade embassy. Murmurs spread. A symbol, he continued. Of alliance. A pause. Between Skyrim and Raven Rock. The blades nodded. It'll be done. And just like that, construction began. Wood cut, stone placed, steel reinforced. A new power rising on the ash-covered island. Far beyond the mortal world. In a realm untouched by time. They watched. The divines. Silent. Eternal. Witnessing the threads of fate twist into something new. Alduin defeated. Dragons united. Immortal building armies, kingdoms, alliances. This was not foreseen, one voice echoed. No, another answered. But it is undeniable. They watched the Dragonborn closely. His choices. His path. He walks a dangerous road, one said. And yet he does not fall, another replied. Silence lingered. Then, a presence stepped forward, stronger than the rest in presence alone. A king. A conqueror. A god. Tiber Septim. Talos. God of man. The others turned. You would step forward, one asked. Talos looked down upon Nirn. At Skyrim. At Blackreach. At Raven Rock. At the Dragonborn. I would. A pause. He reminds me of something. Another voice answered quietly. Yourself. Talos didn't deny it. He builds what others only imagine. He unites what others divide. And he does not hesitate. Silence. You intend to interfere, one said. Talos stepped forward. I intend to help. A pause. Not only him. Another. But all of mankind. The air grew heavier. Your worship was outlawed, one reminded. Talos gave a faint smile. And yet it never truly died. A pause. I would see it rise again. Silence stretched. But this time, no one stopped him. Then Talos continued. This is no longer just about Skyrim. Another step forward. The Thalmor move. They will not stop. A pause. And the Daedric princes interfere more boldly than ever. Hermias Mora's presence lingered in their awareness. You would act against them as well, one asked. Talos' gaze sharpened. Yes. A pause. I would help the Dragonborn deal with the Thalmor. Another. And where possible, break the influence of the Daedric princes. Silence. Destroy them, one questioned. Talos didn't hesitate. If not destroy, then weaken. Drive them back. Make this world safer. The weight of that idea echoed across the divine realm. Gods challenging other gods. Again. That path is dangerous, one warned. Talos nodded. So is doing nothing. Silence followed. Long. Considered. Then, one by one, they answered. Very well. We will not stop you. Nor will we oppose this. A final voice spoke. If this mortal truly stands at the edge of ascension, then he will need guidance. Talos nodded once. He will have it. A pause. And more. Because this was no longer just a mortal struggle. Not just war. Not just survival. This was something greater. A shift in the balance itself. And Talos would walk the world once more. Back in Raven Rock, the Dragonborn stood watching the embassy rise. Unaware of the decision just made. Of the god who had chosen him. Of the war growing beyond even his understanding. But soon, very soon, he would learn. Because the next ally he would gain would not be mortal. To be continued. Hello, if you enjoyed the audio and want to see this to the end, like and subscribe. And if you have friends who also like Skyrim, press that share button.